The clamor for the scrapping of the Federal Special Anti-Robbery Squad paid off on Sunday after the Inspector General of Police dissolved the police unit. This came after recent campaigns online and series of protests across the nation attracted some attention and brought the police authorities under immense pressure. But it is not over yet. Many young Nigerians say there is need to ensure full commitment from the government as several attempts to reform SARS didn't yield the desired results. Now with me in the studio is broadcast journalist and media trader Onyegbule. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me here.
All right, looking at all of this now, a lot of people, since the SARS has been dissolved by the IG, driving down to work, I still saw youths on the road, on the streets in Alausa, still lying down and still protesting. Why do you think this is so?
I think they're asking for more. As Nee said, it's beyond what it is that the eye can see. And when you look at it, yes, the IG has actually disbanded SARS, but is it to say that the problem has left us? It's impossible that the problem will leave us. Because now you're going to see that another unit will be, born, created, and these men, or maybe women, will have to be pushed into this unit. For me, I just think that people just need to get training, people need to be retrained, but for those people to still stand and sleep where it is that they've been protesting, there is more. And
what more do you think they're asking for?
For me, I would think it's about total reformation. When you talk about reforming the police, I just think the IGP needs to think about that. Because when you look at it, people have died needlessly. I saw the video of a man who was crying about how his son was wasted. That's the word he used. Wasted by the police. And you had the video of another man side by side. I think he's a member of the SARS unit. And he's saying, look, I have 30 bullets. I don't know how many people saw that video. It says he has 30 and that he's going to pump 29 into people who are just trying to, mess up and say, end SARS and all of that, and that he was going to use the last one on himself. How do you have such a person in that kind of unit?
Mindset?
Yes, these are people who have lost, they don't have those human feelings anymore. There are other videos also going around about somewhere in Anambra State where they say it's actually an abattoir, having to do with SARS, and that when people go there, they never come out. The question for me is, how did we even get to this stage where people's lives don't mean anything to anyone? But I'm just saying that they need to come out and get to speak with these youths who are still on the streets, because for them, they still haven't gotten to exactly where it is that they've been looking for.
When you say a total reformation is needed, a lot of people will, what comes to my mind is increase the salaries of these people.
It's not about the salary.
Is it about the salaries?
No.
Or is it about the welfare? What is it actually?
It's about, it's a fundamental thing. When the foundation is faulty, you have an idea what it is that would happen. It's beyond the salaries. People need to be trained. You need to find the right heads when you want to get into the police. I heard, of course, this morning, one of the guests I had was saying, when people look around and they don't find jobs, whether they did well in school or not, the next thing is go to the police college. Do something, get some kind of training there before you know it, you have a uniform. Years ago, I interviewed a young man on my show, and he was saying to me he had a cousin who was in the police. At some point, they found out that this guy had some mental issues.
Whoa.
Yes, and he had to be put in a mental institution. Before you knew it, he was out. The next thing they found out that the guy was in Kanu, in a uniform as it is. So sometimes these people are not checked out. You just find them that they are in the police, and they just do things. The government comes out to say, oh, we've apprehended the person who shot this person. Before you know it, we don't hear anything about it. And he dies down like that. So I'm thinking that more needs to be done. It is beyond, ending SARS. But let's look at it again. I may be unpopular with this one. There are still good men in the police.
No, definitely.
When we say the police is bad, there are still good men in the police. Maybe the bad eggs are giving the good ones a bad name. But when you look at it, if you want to say this unit is good, everything about it should be good.
Well, in all of this now, the youths have gone all out. What does this say?
It means that the youths they've woken up. You remember when we had the issue about the lazy Nigerian youths? I saw them yesterday. I drove out yesterday and I passed through the LSHA. And I was wondering, I saw all of them gathered there. And I said to myself, wow, I'm so proud of the Nigerian youths. They're walking up to say, we cannot take this. And this is the right way to do things. It's not about going there to shed blood or do something. You can have something. I may not want to use the word right here on television, but it can happen. And it has to be bloodless. That's the truth. You come out with your placards. You stand there. You say it the way it is. We don't want this. Now, people will realize that the youths of this country have woken up to say, look, when we want something, we demand it. Now they're looking at what's happening around the world. Look at what's happening all over the United States. Look at what is happening in some of the countries in Asia. People are standing shoulder to shoulder, toe to toe, and saying, this is what we want. This is what we need you to do. And I think that the Nigerian youth have woken up to that responsibility. There
seems to be a trust issue when it comes to anything that has to do with the police. Now, how do we change that mindset?
Trust. It's a big issue, I tell you. You know, we have this thing where they say to us, the police is your friend.
Yeah. It's boldly written in most police stations.
But not everybody would believe that. I've had wonderful policemen, as I say to people. I've had a policeman help to change my tire on the 3rd Mainland Bridge. I've had policemen who have helped me do quite a number of things. You know, when I'm driving and maybe I have issues with my car, there are policemen who are there to help you. There are bad eggs, I know, in the police, but there are also good policemen. It's about changing the mindset. That's
How do you change that mindset? Yes, there are good eggs in the police force.
Yeah.
But a lot of people will say that the bad eggs outweighs the good eggs.
Yes, they do.
So how do we change that mindset totally?
The government just needs to do the right thing.
Will a reform do anything to change the mindset?
Yes, the government needs to do the right thing. Pay them well. Have you ever seen where they... Have you seen the barracks? Have you seen the police barracks, what it looks like?
I have been there several times.
So that's something. When people live in that kind of squalor, in that kind of abject poverty, you will be amazed at the kind of things that they are able to find themselves doing. You can imagine a policeman is openly begging you for money, asking you for money. He has change in his pocket, whatever that means. You say to him, do you have change? You bring out 500 naira or 1,000 naira. He's digging his hand in his pocket and bringing you change to give to you. Like you're selling pepper or you're haggling about pepper or tomatoes. They need to do something. When you talk about paying someone well, there's a way you get to pay someone. Even if the money is not much, it comes regularly. Have you seen how some policemen dress on the road? Something needs to be done about that.
Well, I'm trying to deviate from this pay because we have other outfits, other security outfits who are very disciplined. We don't hear this kind of agitation from them. Though, yes, it is there, but the work comes before any other thing.
Theo, the only thing I would say to you is that the police is poorly funded. That's the truth. Someone mentioned the RRS. They are always somewhere right under the bridge around Otedola. They don't harass you. Even when they stop you, they just look at you, madam, how are you and all that.
Yeah.
They let you drive past. These are people, maybe they're being taken care of by the Lagos state government. But when you look at it from the federal, those who are stuck with the federal government and all of that, you find that they are poorly funded. Why don't you do that first? Give them a good place to live. Let them be able to take care of their children. Let them have something at the end of the month that they can call their own. Let them be able to save. You will see that things will truly change.
Some state governors are helping out in this regard, but how can other agencies, the generality of Nigerians, help out in
It's not the job of the generality of Nigerians.
We know.
It's the federal government.
Yes,
it's the government's job.
It's a government, but security is everyone's business at this point.
And that's why governments are doing what they can to see that they can secure the lives and property of the people in their state. But we need to stop moving the blame away from the government. If the government says, look, this is the federal police, it's your job, it's your responsibility to take care of that unit.
You look smashing.
Good morning, Veronica. Thank you very much. But you know, no matter how colorful you try to look, there's something going on in our country, and
Absolutely.
Government and the people need to come to a round table and get to talk about it to say how we bring peace.
And that is what we are looking at. And SARS, which has...
And SARS has ended.
SARS
Dissolved,
It has
actually.
been dissolved, but then they have been deployed to a different unit, which for some Nigerians, it's really not addressing the issue for them. They feel that if you are dissolving this, there are certain things let's know you're dissolving it, but those justice must be done and seem to be done, especially for cases of human rights abuses. Your reaction?
That's probably one of the reasons why the youths are still protesting. They're still on the streets. Some of them still have their mats and pillows, you know, sleeping on the streets to say, look, we know what it's like in Nigeria when government comes out to say to us that this has been done. We need to see a clear picture that you've actually dissolved SARS. Well, you look at it again. For me, I think this is something like a double-edged sword.
Really?
That's the truth.
How is that?
Because you say it's been dissolved. You're not taking those people to my village in Imbise to go and dump them there, or taking them to somewhere else in the southwest or the southeast as it is. You're still going to fix them somewhere in the police. And we know what it's like. They're going to come up with a new name. Another acronym is going to be born, and you put these people in there.
And that doesn't address their activity.
It doesn't address the activity. You still see some of them boasting. Some of them still say, look, we're going to continue with what it is that we're doing, whether or not they say we're dissolved. But for me, I'm thinking that these people who are still on the streets, they are looking at the fact that justice must be served for those who have lost their lives. You need to find a way to compensate their families and make them understand that
that's what they're actually demanding.
That is it, that this will never happen again. Then you look at it, some people have been arrested. I got a young man who sent me a message that he had someone, a friend of his, who was arrested while they were protesting. Now they had to hang a murder case on his neck to say this is what he's done, and that he's reached the federal level. I said, well, since it's gotten to the federal level, you have to follow due procedure to see what will be done. But you guys need to start speaking so that people understand that he didn't do what he's being accused of. So the idea is, I'm sure they're standing there or sleeping there to say, look, you need to address these fundamental issues. And maybe there needs to be something that shows us that this is now a law, that SARS or whatever that resembles SARS will no longer be our portion in this country.
But like someone said, there has to be that opportunity of that avenue where we can separate the bad eggs from the good. I wonder how challenging or how easy it would be to achieve that.
Veronica, you'll agree with me that it is not possible, even in the very civilized climes
at all,
that we try to follow, try to emulate. Remember the Floyd saga?
Yes.
There were bad eggs in the police. Those were the people who did that thing to that young man. You saw it live, how the man put his knee on his neck and he couldn't breathe. And people were saying, take your knee off his neck. He continued that way. It won't be easy for you to rid the police of bad eggs. As I've said, there are good policemen, but maybe the bad ones, not even maybe, the bad ones far outweigh what it is when you talk about the good policemen. But we need to start from somewhere.
Right.
We need to start from somewhere.
There has to be some way to address, to sift out those who perhaps are not allowing that trust to be built with
it's about enlisting people who are credible, people who are up to the task. You don't go looking for never-do-wells. As someone has said, you look for a job you don't get, you don't pass well in school, you didn't even go to school at all, you go conjure results here and there, you put it together, and you find yourself in the police college, you stay a couple of months or a year or more, and you're out there. You have a uniform, you have a baton. At some point, you get a gun, and right there, you are on the street. What do you want to do? You just want to extort the people. There are places where you go to now. They don't even ask you whether it is you have paid the Roja or whatever it is they call it. What they do is give you, there's some kind of tally that they give you so that when you go and come back, they will see that you have paid.
Now that's the issue a lot of persons are saying also needs to be addressed.
Yes.
The issue of returns. It's not as if they are into marketing. It's something that has to be addressed.
Yes, it's everywhere. Have you seen how you take a proposal to a government organization and they're asking you, what's in it for me? What's my cut? What's my share? It's everywhere. It's that corruption that we're talking about. And I just think that the handlers of Nigeria, because people will ask me, who are the handlers of Nigeria? Of course, it's you and I. We're doing what we need to do. I'm here talking about it. You're here every morning talking about it also. But these handlers who sit in Abuja, they earn jumbo salaries. They have pecks of office. Why can't they sit together to say, look, we need to begin to turn the fortunes of this country around? And it means doing the right thing. What does it take to do the right thing? Do the right thing. And if you find that it's a family member of yours that has done something wrong, let them pay the music. But you find there's corruption everywhere. And unless we fight corruption, as the president said, if we don't kill corruption, corruption will kill us. It's as simple as that.
So, and that is one major issue that is also a challenge for the police as we speak. But then there is the Police Act, you know, that was assented to by the president. Do you see that bringing about a turnaround for issues? Because it is said to be holistic in its approach, looking at the various issues of welfare, training, and everything for the police. Are you confident that that will bring about the change that a lot of Nigerians are demanding for?
Point blank, I'll just say no. This is not the first time we're hearing that the president has done this, he has done that. He's done quite a lot to say we're going to reform the civil service. Has it been reformed? I don't think so. You're looking at this now. What is wrong with the police is it's bigger than you and I can see. You know what it is? You have the iceberg. What you can see is that tip right there on the water. You have no idea what it is.
How deep it is,
what is right under. But I tell you, the handlers of Nigeria, I always mention them. They know exactly what the problem is, and they are the only ones that can actually
So invariably, you're saying that the political will to address this issue head on.
It's not there. It's not there. As long as they're not able to, you know, come out with that political will. It's about the will.
And what is the implication?
The implication is that some toes will have to be stepped on. And who's going to bell the cat? There's just one man who can bell the cat, and that's the president of the country. He's the only one who can do it. I heard where you were talking with the gentleman about restructuring, and I keep asking the question, who's afraid of restructuring? That is one of the things that may take care of what it is that we're talking about. Why are we not talking about state police, for crying out loud? There are some crimes that you need people who are domiciled in that area. They're the ones who understand how the place works.
Terrain, yeah.
Do you understand? So until we're able to look at that, as I said, is a fundamental thing. We need to go down the route
and not treat symptoms.
Exactly.
Thank you, Onyegbule, for speaking with us.
Thank you for having me.